Why do most businesses fail? But, and I'm sure all of us have had or have jobs. So, people make great employees. You probably have had, um, employee of the year, or, you get raises, you get new jobs. It's because people are static. Your employers are static about you doing great work. Like, oh, Damon is great. He did this and such and such and such and such. That's great. But most people fail to plan. When you're an employee, they hand you their Forex plan and say, our mission, just think about this, beginning of the year, it's January. If you have a job, or anybody has a job, beginning of the year, that's the big rah-rah. Hey, we need to make $10 million this year. And, we want to have X number of customers. They hand you their Forex plan and say, this is what we need you to do. And you're going to be measured every quarter to make sure that you're meeting the goals to get there. And you have no problem doing it because you've been handed a plan, you've been handed information so that you can go run with it. And okay, boss, okay, employer, I'm going to run with this. Here's the plan that we go with. And there's nothing wrong with that, but that's why most people make great employees. You follow the plan that you were given, and their business succeeds. You made them more money. You helped them succeed. You helped yourself succeed because you've helped your family. You've helped, you've got that raise. You can get the new house or the new car, or, you can send your kids to school, whatever the case may be, the business succeeds. But you made their business succeed. Alice and my goal here is to change that, and you continue to make their business succeed if that's you're choosing. But we want you to reach your goals, and that's why most businesses fail, because most businesses don't set up the structure they need, especially entrepreneurs and solopreneurs. They don't set the structure up that's needed to plan ahead and succeed. So here's how the framework, here's how it all works. You use the framework and the self-mastery method to determine our goals. And we'll discuss this in part 3 further. We'll work to determine, and you can start this now, just some ideas. Determine your 5-year goal, your 3-year goal, and your 1-year goal. And your 5-year goal should be something totally scary. And you're like, and this is, I'll go heavy into this, but here's one thing you do not want to do. Do not ask how. So for instance, one of my goals, and this is the example we'll use. I want to have 5 multi-unit investment properties by the end of 2018. Right now, I have 0. I am not a real estate investor. I have never invested in real estate. I've had property before as like a single families, but that's a goal of mine. I'm tired of paying a mortgage and rent. I want to live in one and rent the rest out. So don't know how I'm gonna do it, but I'm gonna break down. That's just my 1-year goal, but I'll break down my thought process in this Forex system so you can see an example of how that's built out. So that's my 1-year goal, but you want to have a scary goal that's like, wait, don't ask how. That's not your job right now. You have to say what you want, and the how will be worked out. So then we'll break it down. So we'll pick one goal that will help you with your 1-year goal, and we'll dive into that. So what that means is your 5-year goal is the huge goal that you want to accomplish. The 3-year has to roll up to that 5 years. So you have to do whatever in this 3 years to get to the 5 years. And then the year 1 goal, you have to start to get to the 3 to get to the 5, if that makes sense. So what we'll do is we'll break it down and backwards plan it all the way there. And based on that one goal, like for instance, my 1-year goal is to get an investment property. Awesome. What do I need to do to get that investment property? So we'll break that down, and tie it all together. And then it's just a matter, okay, if my 1 year, so say for instance, this isn't it, but my 5 year goal was to have 100 multi-unit investment properties. Well, I start with the 10, and then within the three, probably in the three, I'd have to have maybe 65, and then 100 in the five. And based on the 1 year, and once you know it works, once I know it works and measured it, I just repeat that or do it better. So that's generally how the system works. The main thing, and I know we sent out some workbooks and some worksheets. One of the key things you have to do, and this is such an awesome exercise. I actually had my college son do this when he's like, Dad, I don't have time, blah, blah, blah. You'd be amazed at how much time you really have when you sit down and measure it. So if you haven't done the free time tracker we gave out, make sure that you do that. We gave a free version out. There's actually, the free version doesn't have all the information behind it, but it's still useful. But it's basically will tell you, as long as you're honest on it, it'll tell you how much time you actually have. And when you know how much time you actually have, that's the first thing that you have. That's the first thing we do is find out how much time you have. You can't accomplish your goals if you don't know how much time you have. Of course, it's going to fluctuate, but if you have an idea, what I like to do is when I know what my time is, I subtract 10 hours from that, because I know one of my vices is underestimating time. So if I've got 60 hours in a week that I have to actually work on my goals, I'll say I have 50. And then, roll that out and measure and adjust accordingly. But knowing how much time you have is the first thing you need to do before you do anything. That way you know what fits in where. Then we lay out the roadmap. Once you know the time, you can lay the roadmap up because you know what you can get done in specific periods of time for your one goal. We just take one goal in a short 3 month, about 12 to 13 week period. We take one goal that leads up to that 1 year goal to get us closer to that 1 year goal. And we work on that. That's all you work on. You stay focused on that. And then I'll show you how to track it, how to stay motivated, and how we create your success documentary. So that's the general structure of how it works. This session is a high level overview. We're going to go in deep next session and dive in heavily for each of the 3 frameworks and the 4 principles, and give some best practices and start giving you some homework and structuring. So